get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hi guys, this is Nick, and welcome back to the Friday Night Frenzy. I got two of my best buds here. Let's not waste any time and bring them in. First off, we have the player himself, Taladia. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
Yep. What's up, my man? Second off, we have the man who brings the heat himself. This is his first time on the Frenzy. Welcome, Jay Heat.
What's up?
So, first off, I'd like to start the stream off by thanking Jared from Comics League for editing that wonderful intro. Kind of wanted to give that guy some props. He did an amazing job. And also, this is for you, Jared.
Fuck off, God.
Oh, if he saw that, he'd be laughing his butt off. We were gonna have a fourth guest, but unfortunately, she got caught up with work. She still might appear. You never know. So just it's a maybe, but like we'll keep the count going. So we got a full itinerary for you guys. But first off, let's start with a little self promo, shall we? So this is Screecher, and I got another backer. So I'm currently at 1686 with 9 days left. It's getting to the final countdown. I think we'll probably close with at least $1,700. I think that's pretty certain. Like 1,800. Like I want to get to at least 2,000, but I think 1,800 is probably a reasonable goal right now. I think I could probably do 1,800. 1,700 is mostly for sure. So yeah, you guys have been really good for me, and I really appreciate this. This is I can't wait for you guys to get this in your hand. This is literally the start of a new era for the Phoenix Press, and honestly, I could not be more happy.
Surprise announcement! I just backed $50. I just backed like $20 on it. Get this book.
Wait, are you the one? Are you back at number 64?
I was back. I can't remember which option I chose, but I know I backed up the comic.
Like, when did you just do this, or
I just did this?
Oh, so we might be at 1,700.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be continually refreshing while we talk about this.
And be sure. Hey, have you dropped the link in the chat yet? That way we can get more people on this.
I have not actually. That actually is a really good idea that I should have thought of myself. So thank you for reminding me, brother. I do appreciate it. All right. So if you want to back it yourself, you can check it out at this link right here. All right. And yeah. So let's see here. So what you guys? So this first section we got here is what we've been into, what we've been playing, what we've been watching. So I'll start. And then for the playing section, it'll be me, Jay Heat, then Taladia. Taladia's got some stuff he wants to say about what he's been playing, so I'm kind of going to give him the floor. And then for the watching, it'll be me, Taladia, and then Jay Heat, because he's got a similar thing. He's been watching something that a little bit controversial, so Jay's going to be bringing the heat on that one. I'm sorry, your name just easily invites that wordplay. I'm sorry, brother. So for me, I've been kind of getting back into Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, anime. I've had the game for a little while, and I kind of dropped it for a little bit. But like, I watched the anime, and then I kind of just got back into it. Yeah, it's a good game. Like, I don't care if people don't like it. If they don't like it, sure, cool, whatever. But yeah, I've been liking it. Let's see, what else I've been playing. I've been playing a little bit of Bravely Default on my 3DS. Ever since I modded my 3DS, I've kind of getting back into it, kind of catching up on the games that I always want to play. Bravely Default is Oh, it's a beautiful game. The presentation is just immaculate. It's just, oh, it's so good. I need to pick up Bravely Default 2 on the Switch, I think. Since Jay Heat's a little bit indisposed at the moment, Taladia, what you been playing?
I've been playing Gotham Knights, and
Oh, wait! You've been playing Gotham Knights?
yes,
Of course!
of course I have. Is that a
Of
question?
course!
That isn't without a shadow of a doubt. Come on.
Of course!
There it is.
I'm sorry. I like when
Well,
okay,
Jay
whenever you
Heat
hear
is
me
back.
pausing and trying to drag out for time, I'm usually trying to dig up a clip.
So, by the way, Jay Heat is back. So if Jay Heat wants to go first, then you can go first, and I'll go after.
Okay, and I'm just gonna make this very brief, but Phase 4 is kind of a dud. I'm not bashing a particular.
What you've been
project.
playing video game wise?
What have I been playing video game wise? I've been playing SWTOR, 2K, the usual stuff. But anyone downplaying, look, hardly anything from the cap with that must not be named. None of that with SWTOR Knights of the Old Republic. It's a solid, good RPG game. You should check it out.
Oh, I agree. It's a good one. I just like, yeah. I mean, when anyone says that SWTOR is a good RPG, my response is
No shit.
So Taladia, talk about what you got to say about Gotham Knights.
Well, it's a fun game. I was playing it for hours on end. I've been so far been at least, I would say, 10 hours. At least 4. I did. How long have I done? I've done in total. First stream I did was an hour. Then I must have done nearly 6 to 7 hours in total, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's fun. I never went into this game thinking that this game was going to be an Arkham game successor. I thought this game was a fresh new continuity, and I thought, you know what, this is something fresh. It's an RPG game. I never played an Assassin's Creed game before, because the team who made this game were actually from the Assassin's Creed team and from Splinter Cell. So I was just like, wow, I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the game just didn't really look like it was something for me. But like, I've seen your enthusiasm, and like, I do respect it, which is why I wanted you to talk about it. Because if it's important to you, then I respect your passion.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Like this game has been in developmental hell since 2017, 2016, yeah, around about that time. And it's been in developmental hell. It's crazy that the amount of devs that pitched the game, cancelled, and so on and so forth, till they finally found the right game that they were going to do.
Yeah, that is wow.
Okay.
I don't have this in my clips library, but I want to do it anyway.
That's rough, buddy.
I really need to have that in my clips library, but it just
Okay.
well, what you guys been watching? I've been checking out like a bunch of like Netflix documentaries. There's one called Bad Vegan, which is like really crazy. I kind of feel like they're kind of high. Like it's about like this woman who had like a vegan restaurant, and this guy came in and pretty much just like gutted everything. I really feel like they're kind of hiding some stuff, making the woman look good. I mean, she's like a victim, but like I feel like she's not as innocent as the show is trying to portray her as. But you know, that's just kind of how things go. And then just kind of been watching some other stuff. You know, just enjoying my Netflix subscription. Taladia, what you been playing? Oh, watching. Sorry.
Watching. Well, I've been watching various things. I've been watching. Obviously, I watched She-Hulk, and then Andor.
And Andor, I heard was actually, surprisingly decent. Like, remember I watched this like Critical Drinker clip where he actually saying he liked it. If the Critical Drinker likes it, you know it's got to at least have some quality to it.
True.
So, Jay, what you've been watching? I hear you kind of wanted to kind of talk about some stuff. So, platform is yours.
Okay, basically, I'm not gonna bet quality has gone down, but I think we all agree that Phase 4 was gonna be a dud. I think we can all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like with She-Hulk, they weren't even trying. I just feel like it's just the marketing for me. It's like the marketing was misplaced. These writers, I felt like I was watching not only a self-insert, but a self-insert going through a therapy session.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
also-
I kept. Sorry, go ahead.
And for lack of a better term, it also doesn't change the fact that they characterize Jen as a rampant whore.
Yeah, I honestly, like, as soon as I realized that show wasn't for me, I checked out. Like, I didn't even engage in it because it just felt like rage bait. You know, what's the term that people are using now?
Fan baiting, something like that.
Fan baiting. Yeah, which I watched some videos on it, and yeah, a lot of it makes sense. You know, like going back to Ghostbusters 2016, the only way you fight it is just not engage. You know, like, I know some people, like there's some people on Twitter that say like, oh, how do they know you hate it if you don't tell them? It's like, you're doing exactly what they want you to do, which is to rage about it on Twitter or social media.
It feeds
So you're doing, it gets engagement and it takes, whatever. And I say, it's like the Simpson episode where it's like, just don't look. You know, that's basically the only thing you can do. Is the only weapon against this kind of stuff is apathy. Is just like. And that's kind of the point what we're reaching with a lot of this stuff, and the companies are feeling the pinch.
Case in point, Solo, She-Hulk, Kathleen Kennedy's trilogy.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I mean, I wasn't going to put this in the news section, but we can kind of talk about it real quick right here. It's like they announced that David Lindelof is working on a trilogy, and no one cared.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah, David, the same David Lindelof that did the Watchmen series that only lasted one season, but somehow that was actually that was his plan all along, was just to do one,
Just a one and
thing.
done, or so he claims.
Yeah.
And you might want to refresh your page.
Yeah. It's showing the 65 backers, but sometimes it like takes a second to show up. Trust me, I'm well versed in backers and whatnot, and how things go. But yeah, I feel like a thank you to you is going to be in order very shortly. Because like if you backed around $20, I should be at 1,700.
I'll let you guess the number.
Well, just so you know, I do get emails saying how much you contributed. So I literally have that right in front of me right now. So, all right. But let's go into the news. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let's get some thanks in order. We're at 1,700, baby. Oh, yeah. So, thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Oh my. What?
One more.
Okay. That's for you, brother. I wish I had like more like other positive stuff on here, but like It's I actually feel kind of bad now. It's mostly like negative stuff. Like, oh my god.
Please clap. Please clap.
All right. So news. No, let's talk about the news. So let's kind of just launch into the biggest one of the day. Elon Musk has bought Twitter. Let that sink in.
Oh
And
boy.
boy, oh boy, did he! And boy, oh boy, did he let the sink in.
I couldn't hold it in. I couldn't.
So yeah. So like, okay, I gotta like talk about this for a moment. I got a clip I gotta look up.
The king of trolls himself.
So pretty much Twitter is
Getting
So pretty much-
desserts.
so I have some footage, some behind the scenes footage of Twitter talking about about what it would be like if with Elon at the helm.
Okay.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
That's pretty much,
I would have used the red wedding because it is a bloodbath.
It is.
So what's your kind of predictions on what things are going to be like going forward?
Really, I'm just tired of the echo chamber. If you want to hide behind a microphone, have the decency to follow up on your threat. You want to leave Twitter? Leave. It's not very productive anyway.
Exactly.
And I'll say what needs to be said. Half of this is angsty teenagers, and the other half are stinking weirdos like I have nothing else to live for. I'll say it. If it ain't people in California living in a bubble, it's people who've lost their goddamn minds because they can't handle one of the most harder aspects of life.
Yeah. Like
Nowadays,
honestly,
you didn't see any of this.
back in my day. Like if you want to talk about stuff that can't be made today, yeah, okay. Jay's like, oh shit, what is he gonna do? Like as soon as you guys see this, you're gonna be like, okay.
Boy, is he strict. Gotta get in there close and find out what's happening. There's our ticket.
Hey, boys, look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
Have you seen this movie, Jay Heat?
I have seen this movie. I have seen it.
God. Oh, I
Man,
just,
this is gonna cancel your show. Just letting
I
you
don't
know
care.
that now.
I've accepted the fact that I'm gonna get a copyright claim. Like I'm fine with getting the all right. We're gonna copyright claim it. You don't make any money because I'm just trying to build my audience right now. So right now I don't care. If you want to get like even more crazy, say movies. Like if you want to get like even more spicy.
Hold it. The next man makes a move, the nigger gets it. Hold it, man. He's not bluffing.
Listen to
I'm sorry, but I just love this movie because like he is like the smartest man in the room. Like everyone is just like a bunch of idiots, and he's just like the smartest man in the room. I love that movie so much.
This is a lot worse out of context. This is a lot worse for you out of context.
What do you mean?
Yes, it is.
No, I'm just speaking in front for the audience. Watch this movie before you judge. It's a complete, Nick. You're at some point you're going to cross a line.
Well, it's what is it? George Carlin said, or some other comedian. It is the comedian's job to see the line and then cross it deliberately.
That is true. That is true.
All right, so kind of getting back on the track. Elon buying Twitter. Your thoughts?
It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It already is. It already is. Oh my god. And you know, it's like it's already a bloodbath in Twitter headquarters because he's been firing most of the people there.
He's been firing people left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So before we go forward the news some more. I want to talk about I accidentally skipped over the stuff we're looking forward towards. So yeah, so the thing that there's kind of a few games that I'm really looking forward to. This one is chief among them is the Mega Man Battle Network series, which is on the GBA. I think they had a few on the DS. These were a really good collection of games coming out next year. Really excited for this one. And then the other big one is Suikoden 1 and 2 remastered. These are so overdue. What's your guys' thoughts on Battle Network and Suikoden coming back? If you guys are interested,
it has
or not.
potential. It has potential.
Well, the only reason Suikoden is coming back is because the Euladian Chronicles Kickstarter was so successful. But hey, I'm happy because these games, oh my god. Let me just show you how expensive Suikoden 2 is on PS1. It is insane. All right, yes. Look how much it was at its peak, April of last year. Almost $400 for a copy.
No.
See, I'm actually a big PS1 collector, so I know the market fairly well. But yeah, that's kind of honestly, it's a topic for another day. It's the price of these games have been dropping like crazy, and collectors have been going nuts. But anyway, so that's what I'm looking forward to. What are you guys looking forward to?
Well, I'll go next. I'm looking forward to Sonic Frontiers. That's a game, I think, because of the open world aspect, it's a game I'm probably going to pick up. But I might get it. But I'm also looking forward to next month's Heroic Assaults for Gotham Knights.
And a quick tangent about Sonic Frontiers. It gives me Sonic 06 vibes. And to be fair, Sonic 06 was not that bad. It was just rushed out to fit the anniversary. If they had delayed it another year or two, it would have been a much better product. Now, with that being said, I think Sonic Frontiers could improve if the story's good, but the story's is all in the execution. But as of now, it is giving me Sonic 06 vibes.
Fair enough. So anything that you're looking forward to, Jay?
Well, not exactly a good gaming season this time of year right now, and it's so close to the holidays.
Yeah.
So there's not really too much to work with. All in all, Gotham Knights, at least from what I've seen, it's pretty good. Check it out, but wait for the discount, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like there's not really any really big games coming out this year. Sure, we're getting a new Pokemon generation, and that does look good. I got that on pre-order, but Hogwarts Legacy got pushed back to February, so that's out of the Christmas season. What are the big holiday games? Is it Modern Warfare 2 or whatever?
Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2, God of War. Those are two big ones. Midnight
Ragnarok,
Suns.
Yeah.
Midnight Suns.
Pokemon is definitely in the conversation as well. I mean, it's a new Pokemon generation, of course.
It's a good honorable mention.
Sonic Frontiers is also probably one of those. But yeah, it just seems fairly light, honestly. Like there's not really like any big games coming out in the holidays. I still feel like we're kind of still kind of feeling the effects of like the COVID shutdown because like so much stuff got delayed and pushed back. I still kind of feel like they're still picking up the pieces from that. What do you guys think?
They are. There's definitely
Yeah.
a bit of progress that needs to be made.
Yeah, it's getting better, but I feel like they haven't really caught up to where they were, you know. But yeah, so I think probably give it another year or so. What are you guys' predictions for next year as far as games? So for me, I'm mostly PC Nintendo. So like most of my predictions are like in the Nintendo sphere. For me, Mega Man 4 is going to be talked about a little bit more. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm really excited for that one. That's going to be a great game. I need to finish the DLCs of Breath of the Wild. Obviously, the Mega Man one. As far as announcements, I think they'll bring Game Boy Color to Switch Online, and then GBA probably somewhere down the line. As far as the Switch Pro, we might get it towards the end of the year. I could definitely see them having them be like that next big hardware for the end of next year for Christmas. I could see that. Because we're kind of due for a refresh of the Switch. Because the biggest thing with the Switch was when it came out, you could cram a PS4 game onto the Switch if you knew what you're doing. Because we got a lot of those miracle ports. But with the PS5, that's not really that possible. That's why we're getting a lot of streaming games.
And here's a hot take. And just right quick, this is a hot take. They kind of jumped the gun with the PS5, Xbox One generation. I think especially, I mean, when I say that, they jumped the gun in terms of fully advocating for streaming and abandoning the previous generation when it comes to more. That way you get
they've been trying to go all digital for like a while now. Remember the Xbox One was supposed to be an all digital platform. That's why it was called the Xbox One because Sony did a all digital PSP. The PSP Go. They've been the Xbox One SAD. The 1S all digital edition. That was literally a digital console. So they've been I really feel like the industry wants to go in a direction the audience does not.
There's definitely a conflict there.
Like, I feel like streaming can carve out its own place in the industry. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. The problem is there's a mixture of lack of desire. Also, the U.S.'s internet infrastructure is honestly poorly equipped for mass because we're spread out. And outside of the big cities, internet is crap. You get like bad transfer speeds and then also data caps. So streaming is not really viable outside of the big cities or big metropolitan areas.
Yeah. Here's what I would suggest. You would have like, I wouldn't exactly call it a metaverse, but I would definitely create a nexus where you could use streaming video game platforms, but still keep the physical direct to console. That way you have two audiences engaging on two separate brackets for one industry.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the companies, I feel like Microsoft kind of has the best approach to where they have Game Pass, which is honestly the best service out there, to where you can stream it, but you can also download it to your console. And that kind of helps kind of skirt the issue where it's like, as long as you can download to a console, you can kind of wait, X amount of time for it to download, which makes it easier to consume.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
So I definitely feel like Microsoft kind of has a best handle on that.
And a $60 subscription, they've had the same rate for $60 subscription since the Xbox 360, maybe even earlier than that. Whereas you got PlayStation with around $40. And I'm just
it's even worse if you go for like the big plus, because like I've always been a big Sony fan. Like I've always like Sony, Sega, and like I've never been much into Xbox, but like Sony, Sega, Nintendo, and there's like the Sony subscription gives you access to a lot of the classic PS1 games, which I'd be all over if it wasn't so expensive. I did hear some rumors that like you can buy certain games and then like any games you had purchased on your account during like the PS3 days will transfer over. I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, that's actually an incentive for me because like I actually bought a bunch of games during the PS3 era that like if I could just transfer them over, like I bought like Symphony of the Night, Suikoden, and Parasite Eve, that would be really cool because like I'd love to play a lot of those PS1 games because the PlayStation 1 is literally my favorite console of all time. That's my console. That's the one that I have so much love for.
And what would you say is more chaotic, the gaming industry or the comics industry?
Comics, because at least
Comic industry.
comics by far, because gaming at least has some sort. It kind of they're better at self-correcting. I feel like the gaming industry is better at being a little bit more professional, but also I feel like they understand the customers a little bit more. Comics, it's
Go ahead, Nick.
comics. There's kind of this divide between. And I'm strictly talking mainstream. Indies is kind of a separate thing. I feel like the comics pros, there's kind of like this gulf of communication between comics pros and the fans, and a lot of comics pros tend to have a "I know better than you" attitude, which is why the indies are kicking ass because like the indies actually listen to their customers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this new generation of comics. Everyone has a learning curve. Everyone has to start out somewhere. Whether you want to commit to the comics industry or whether you want to use it as a stepping stone, just make something good. And don't get me started on the editorial. But to make it,
actually, you kind of touched on something there where you said like stepping stone. Actually, one time I was actually interviewing Chuck Dixon.
Okay,
it's a little bit of a flex there, and he actually, amazing man. He's actually one of my heroes. Turns out he's actually the exception to the rule of don't meet your heroes. But anyway, he actually talked about how people come into comics and they use it as a stepping stone to work on other things. And that's kind of one thing that's really ruining comics is they don't have a love for the medium. They just want to come in, do their thing, and then move on. They don't care about the long-term viability. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these like, oh, we're turning this person gay, or like, oh, this person is black now, or like just doing all this really stupid stuff that generates headlines, and then they do their damage and they move on. They don't have to deal with the repercussions of it.
And I'm not saying you need to be a passionate comic book fan. I'm not saying you have to be constant omnibuy. Just tell a good story. Like, for example, Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison is one of the most sporadic, chaotic writers you will ever read. Especially in his Animal Man. Don't get me started on Animal Man. But his Batman trilogy was, at the time, was hated for one simple reason. Damian Wayne, when he outright snubbed Tim Drake. He got so much baggage over that, and he took the most insufferable little twat and gave him a character art that was almost akin to modern Hamlet. So if you have the drive, if you have the hunger, if you have the commitment to craft a good story from beginning to end and play the long game, you can make something decent and change even the worst of characters to a modern coming-of-age story. And speaking of coming-of-age stories, a lot of comics nowadays, whether it's for the sake of clout, whether it's for the sake of headlines, all they can write is either mantle swaps / diversity changes or typical LGBTQ coming-of-age stories. And that's very limiting because, one, that's a specific audience within a niche audience. And two, what's there after that? If you specifically define a character strictly for their preference, there's nothing else to them because that's all you're writing about.
Yeah, like we see a lot of these these characters where their only defining characteristic is being gay or being trans or their race or whatever. And like if you want to tell like a racism story using like a black character, sure, but like there needs to be more to that character than that story. Like, it honestly, like, feel free to call my ass out, but like, okay, it honestly actually feels kind of racist to have to only like, oh my god, here's a black person, they're gonna lecture me on racism again. Like, it almost feels that itself is kind of a stereotype in racism. Like, feel free to call me out on that, but am I wrong on that one, or is it?
To an extent, if you are John Ridley and you just cram that in everything you write, it gets to the point where it's obnoxious. Sometimes there need to be these conversations. Sometimes we can have these allegories.
Agreed.
But don't do it in a way to where it's preachy or obnoxious. Do it in a way to where you're providing meta commentary where you can start a conversation, because the key is a different perspective and learning about something that's different or bigger than you. If you're just preaching or standing on a pedestal for the sake of your own gravitas, it's obnoxious.
Yeah, for sure.
And no
Like
one's gonna listen to you.
I actually feel like subtlety is
Key.
something that's lost in a lot of modern fiction. There's actually this really important page. I'm sorry, I'm kind of looking it up right
Go
now.
ahead.
But like, yeah, there's like because like I keep going back to the Green Lantern, Green Arrow run of the 70s.
Raven
You
the
know, which
Bold.
was yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this one right here. All right. So, are you familiar with this one?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
This is a perfect example of like calling stuff out and whatnot, you know. And this is done beautifully. Oh, thanks for coming on. I hope we really energize you to get your thing going. But yeah, so I'm gonna read this out for our audio only people. It says, actually, tell you what, Lady, would you like to read that guy's stuff?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Jay Heat, I'm sorry.
All right. I've been reading about you, how you work for the Blue Skins, and how a planet someplace you helped out the Orange Skins, and you done considered able for the Purple Skins. Only their skins you never bothered with, the Black Skins. I want to know how come. Answer me that, Green Lantern. I'm not gonna. The characterization is semi stereotypical, and I'm not gonna say it like that. I'm just gonna read it.
It's a yeah. Like you don't need to read the inflection. I just this is a bit on the nose. And to be perfectly frank, if this was done today, it would be considered it would be derided.
It's a product of its time.
Yeah, I think with hindsight, we can kind of view this better. And let's be fair here. Some of the stuff done now that we hate, in time, we might look on more favorably. I mean, that's just kind of how things go. But yeah, like I really feel like.
But the intention of the scene was to convey how sometimes, no matter how much good in the world, there are people who get ignored, and there are larger ramifications.
Exactly.
In this context, Hal Jordan, he's technically in charge of an entire space sector. Sometimes he's not on Earth all the time. And during this era, there were a lot of superheroes just avoided interacting with African Americans too much, both in and out of story, because of potential controversy. And it's an honest, it's an allegory to be sure, but it's a critique that was desperately needed.
Yeah. You're gonna say something, Taladia?
Yeah, so I was going to say that we are on what topic again? Elon Musk, isn't it?
We kind of okay. So my thing is, when a good conversation gets going, I kind of just let it go, because I feel like good conversation is what separates streams. We could talk about the same stuff. Like we could have been talking about Elon Musk and literally say the same thing everyone else does, but we just had a unique conversation here. A really insightful one, and that's more what I'm about. Like I really like good conversation.
That's why I got lost. That's why.
I respect that.
Yeah, so like when a good conversation kind of just pops up out like this,
Yeah,
I just let it go. So I don't mind tangents as long as it's good conversation. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I got lost. That's why from the list. I was just like, wait a minute.
To be honest, the schedule it's more like a set of guidelines. It's more just like if we don't know what to do next, we consult that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But yeah, in regards to the comics these days comics aren't the same.
No, they're not.
And the reason they're not the same, not because what we grew up in, not because any of that. This isn't an Infinite Crisis situation, or God forbid, Dark Crisis. But
good God.
But essentially, it's about the craft and how there's no subtlety, there's no nuance. Everything is in your face. And I'm just like, it's either you're not trying or you're not capable, because comics is a very complex medium. You can't just put a showrunner on a comic and just all he has to do is write a screenplay. No, it's a completely different perspective. Speaking of a showrunner writing a comic, Tim Sheridan, Teen Titans Academy, arguably one of the worst books I've ever read.
I thought you were going to bring up Joss Whedon's X-Men run.
I forgot that existed, but thanks for reminding me.
Oh, please don't mention his name.
Hey, this isn't Jared's stream. We're not going to have Ben Affleck's not going to show up.
No, I don't like that dude.
All right, everyone. Chill.
Great actor, terrible casting.
I will say, Batman and Robin kind of falls into a so bad it's good kind of category for me. Like, it's where you watch it and you laugh at how bad it is, because like Arnold Schwarzenegger just gives no shits in that movie. He just like the ice puns are just great. Like it's the same reason why I love this movie.
Of course.
Like
Fair
Street
enough.
Fighter, they tried to make an honest to God Street Fighter movie, play it straight, but like that movie is like if you watch it as a loving parody, like they're like it's like we love the material and we're parodying it, and it's like an action comedy. It literally becomes like the funniest movie ever made. Like it's just so grossly over the top. Like, have you lost, sir? I think you've lost your mind. No, you've lost your balls. Like we're gonna kick that. It's like you have the most American Frenchman ever. Like we're gonna kick Bison so hard. We're gonna kick Bison so hard up the ass that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. I'm sorry, I can quote that movie over and over and over again. It's like to you, the day Bison Grayson graced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. And just the look on her face. I'm describing these scenes because if I play them, I will get copyright struck. So I'm just,
Of course. Don't you know anything about science?
Of course.
So they're remaking The Witcher apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know some people.
Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, I mean, CD Projekt, it was already clear they're making a shift toward Unreal Engine development. I think they realized the Red Engine was more trouble than it was worth. I mean, I feel like if they would have put more time into it, the Red Engine could probably get them pretty good. But like, I think they realize it's just better to do Unreal because then they can hire people who know about it. In the long run, Unreal will be a benefit to them. I think that's probably the right move, honestly. And they're going to remake Witcher 1, which this is a game that has been needing a remake for some time. Okay? Like, look at the progression. So you got Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 1 and 2 and 3 look vaguely similar. Yeah, and then and I played Witcher 1. Like, I played this game back in the day. It's not a terrible game, but my God, is it dated. Oh, you want a fun fact about this game?
Go on.
It runs on the same engine as Neverwinter Nights.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in 2007, CD Projekt, they licensed the Aurora engine from BioWare, and they made so many changes that it became the Aurora engine 2007 or whatever. And if you want like an idea of what a Witcher remake would look like, someone actually remade the opening sequence from The Witcher 1 in the Witcher 3 engine. Now, I'm not going to have sound for this, but just that's Triss, by the way. So yeah, so the thing about the Witcher combat was it was like rhythm based. It was actually your combat was more you're playing a rhythm game. You had to like take your mouse and like click it in a certain rhythm to do it properly. it was a bitch and a half, honestly. You see that sword icon? That is literally from the Aurora engine. Like that's how you tell it's from Neverwinter Nights. But yeah, I mean the graphics aren't like too terrible, but like I honestly feel like this game deserves to be remade for a couple of reasons. One, it was PC only, and it still to this day is PC only. It never came to consoles. So, because like Witcher 2, that game just needs like an up-res, like updated textures. Like there's not that much that needs to be done for that game. Like you can just like
graphics. That's it.
A remaster really is really all it needs. Because I know what CD Projekt is probably going to try and do. They're going to remake this one, remaster Witcher 2, and then they can sell the whole entire trilogy on like PS5, Xbox.
The bundle.
Yeah, I mean it just makes sense. All three.
And also remember, this is published by Warner Brothers. Just saying.
This game was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Eventually, CD Projekt started publishing their own games. But yeah, the first game was published by Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But yeah, so probably one of the things they will remove is, I don't think they'll remove the scenes, the sequence, but like I think they'll remove the sex cards. Are you guys familiar with this aspect of the game?
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they'll probably remove these. I don't think they'll remove the option to have sex with people, because like you could have sex with people in Witcher 3. So it's like the option to have sex with people is, I don't think that's the controversy. I think it's the collecting cards aspect of it, because it's personally, I don't mind it, but I do see what a lot of people say when they say it's kind of degrading and, a little bit too childish. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally objectifying women, like it's one thing to just romance people and they willingly have sex with you. That's one thing. I mean, Mass Effect does that. Dragon Age does that. That's, not that big of a deal. It's kind of the card aspect. So it just, and to be fully honest, removing them is not that big of a deal. Like who cares? Because like if worst comes to worst, play the PC version. I'm sure they can mod them back in. If you're that upset about it, play the PC version, get a mod. Someone's gonna do it. So I'm not really that worried about it. And honestly, I would love to play The Witcher 1 with like Witcher 3 style combat. That sounds really appealing to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how like the Witcher storyline works, where it's like Witcher 1 takes place like roughly 5 years after the last Witcher book.
Yeah.
So this takes place after the events of the books and whatnot. In the first game, he has amnesia. Yennefer actually doesn't show up till the third game. The first two games are like Triss and Geralt and whatnot. And then some characters from the first game that do show up is like Shani from Hearts of Stone is featured in the first game. I think Zoltan shows up. How many of you guys have played Witcher 3?
I have.
I haven't, but I have seen one of my mates play it.
First off, you need to play Witcher 3, Taladia, for sure. This is Zoltan.
Great.
Yeah, that's Zoltan from The Witcher 1. And that's him now. But yeah, it's like some of these models look a little like
Dated.
Yeah, this is Triss. Like it's just like Triss's Witcher 2 model is fine. Let's see here. But yeah, this is Triss from Witcher 2. Like honestly, yeah, she looks fine. Like, see, that's the thing about Witcher 2 is even though it's not a perfect match for Witcher 3, it's like close enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. What's actually really cool is in Witcher 3, if you go to Triss's house, you can actually see her Witcher 2 outfit lying on the floor. I mean, it makes sense. It's her clothes, so, Oh, sorry. So, like, I'm a huge Witcher fan. So this actually happened.
I remember this.
They actually, I think it was like Polish Playboy. They actually had Triss as a centerfold, and they actually did an interview with Triss as if, as if it was her. I need to get rid of this because it's
YouTube.
Biddies. Yeah, yeah. So
you need to set up a Patreon or Indiegogo or something.
Maybe, I know. So how many guys are you familiar with Bayonetta 3?
I never
I'm
played the
kinda-
Bayonetta series, so
I'm indifferent to it. It's just a typical voice acting scenario. She wants more money. There might be something going on behind the scenes, but unless they convey that and they fully go public on that, it just feels like a more disgruntled voice actor type of situation because it was quickly debunked.
Yeah, like Jason Schreier, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but he does get some scoops from time to time. I'll give him that much. Yeah, basically, as far as the situation, as far as I know it, was she was offered $4,000 per session, and it was supposed to be 4 to 5 sessions, so roughly $15K.
Okay.
She wanted more money, and so she declined. And even then, so they hired Jennifer Hale after that, who is really good at And even then, they offered her a cameo, like a cameo voice, the original voice, like an olive branch. So like at this point, even though they declined, they still liked her enough to give her something.
Give her a little something. Yeah.
Basically, they wanted her to go in and do one session for $4,000. It was roughly an hour's worth of work, and you make $4,000. And even then, she didn't take that. And then she did the video where she pulled the old bait and switch and whatnot, said she was only getting paid $4,000, which it was kind of like a technically true. She didn't go into detail, kind of thing.
When the reality was you didn't want the original 4,000, they gave you a cameo, a glorified cameo for the same price. You didn't want that, and now when Bayonetta 3 released and you got fundamentally recast and screwed over, no, you did it to yourself.
She didn't get screwed over. She screwed over herself. And from the reports I've seen, $15K for what she was doing was actually pretty decent pay for what she was doing.
Yeah, because voice acting, you get, especially when you're up and coming, unless we're talking about certain professions, I'm not going to say it here, you don't get a whole lot for VA starting out.
Of course they're going to pay Jennifer Hale more money. She is literally one of the, she's right up there with Nolan North and
That's like comparing Tara Strong to another up and coming voice actress. That's comparing Tara Strong to, well, you get my point. It's Tara Strong.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So basically comparing,
or it's like she's it's not even like Jennifer Bailey money. Where Jennifer Bailey, even though she does everything now, she's not famous there's a lot of Jennifers in the voice acting industry.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Or someone like the person who plays Freddie Freeman from the Shazam film. He did voice acting for Super Sons, and that was his first ever voice acting gig.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy who plays Freddie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the actor.
And I'm sure he didn't get paid flat bottom rates because he wasn't Shazam. I'm sure the fact that he wasn't Shazam probably got him a little bit of extra money because it's even though he's not experienced, there's a little bit of a name there, so it's but I'm sure he got a little bit bump and pay for that.
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of the situation, but whatever will be, will be. for that.
There's two types of people that I'm actually upset with. One is Helena Taylor, who she knew exactly what she was doing, and it blew up in her face. Exactly, she knew this was going to happen. The other one are the YouTubers who really jumped the gun. And like this is why with the James Gunn situation, I'm adamant with a wait and see approach. Like that. This is why I'm very big on the, sure he's done, like sure there's reasons either way, but let's give him a chance to succeed or fail. Like that's a big reason why I'm like that, because with the Bayonetta controversy, people were like, oh, F Bayonetta. The most hilarious thing was like people are getting upset at Hideki Kamiya for blocking everyone when it's like literally that's what he does. Like literally, it's one of the rules is if you speak to me in English, you are blocked. It's like people are getting upset at Hideki Kamiya for like literally doing the thing he's been doing for like the past 5 to 10 years. So it's like,
So speaking about James Gunn, right? He's the new DC head, co-head, I should say, of DC Studios, right?
mhm.
And let's talk about this because I think this is really big.
It
So
is
what?
actually.
Because him and Peter Safran, who did the It movies and the horror franchise, so it's going to be really big for DC and what they're going to bring to the table. We already know the next Superman film's in development. We know there's a Wonder Woman film in development. All right. And Aquaman and Flash and all of that, it's all in the works. But what does it mean for video games, Tim? Because they are going to be the heads of video games now because they're looking to oversee animation, movies, everything DC that is going to be within that spectrum. And I have a funny feeling that James Gunn might actually greenlit a Superman game more than anything.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that's in the cards.
And I don't see Gotham Knights getting any real DLC. I mean, the story, I'm not going to spoil it. The story is pretty solid for what it is. But Gotham Knights is going to be a bit of a downgrade in the larger eyes of these executives. So another Batman game is definitely going to be in the works within the next 2 years. Another Wonder Woman game, because she's gotten her IP has gotten stronger in the past 5 to 6 years. So I could definitely see a Wonder Woman game. Superman could go either way depending on if Man of Steel 2 is successful.
I really feel like we're kind of on the verge for a superhero game renaissance because, like you had the Arkham games that did well. Spider-Man is doing amazing. They're doing a Wolverine, like Insomniac's doing a Wolverine game that's probably going to be pretty good. Like we're really kind of starting to see the age of the superhero video game, and I think a lot of companies are going to want to jump in on this. I definitely feel like we're going to get another Arkham game. Like they're going to try and do that. Because like. It really depends on how Suicide Squad does. Because if Suicide Squad fails, we're getting another Arkham game.
Yeah.
Because
that's a stinker, man. I'm gonna call for what it is. Suicide Squad versus the Justice League. That's gonna be a stinker.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean that game. Who knows it?
That game is a game as a service game, guarantee you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the market is clearly saying they don't want those, except for in certain circumstances. Like I think the only way games of service works is if you have like a free to play game like Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, stuff like that. I think people are more willing to do that. But like people are not going to want to pay $60 for a game and then have like, see that's where a lot of people draw the line. It's like I already paid like $70, and this is why. When they raise the prices to $70, and like everyone's like, but inflation and the cost of video game, it's and they pulled out adverts from the 90s where it showed like, Hey You Pikachu is like $90 and shit. Like, the problem with that argument is microtransactions. They have so much microtransactions. Like FIFA Ultimate Team alone makes over $1 billion a year. Yeah. FIFA Ultimate Team, just on its own, I think makes like $1 or $2 billion a year. Like I need to look up.
Go do it. And really, this was even before Avengers 2014. The microtransaction trend has run its course It was insufferable then. It's insufferable. It's one thing if it's like a Fortnite situation where it's a free to play and you're essentially paying extra for cosmetics, battle gear, season passes, stuff like that. People are willing to let that slide. But if you already have a relatively mediocre game, and you stack microtransactions on top of that, come on, you're just ripping people off at that point.
Yeah, it's bad.
But the way I see it now is that with the new DC heads and everything, I think we are going to get a Superman game. I'm seeing they're gonna give us something.
So you want the exact number in 2021?
Okay.
EA's fiscal report. I got actually, let me just put this on screen. It's probably better. All right. So see, this is a big one. Here it is. EA's fiscal report for 2021 said that the mode generated $1.62 billion in revenue, making up 29% of its business.
Well, they
one fucking game generates 30% of EA's revenue. Let that sink in.
Well, they did take a $12.2 million fee for downloading a Dutch court ruling from a few years ago and violating.
You read that part, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, $12 million when you're making $1 billion, that's kind of a drop in the bucket,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Like that's kind of my biggest problem when they're making so much money on the microtransactions. It's kind of hard to swallow a $10. It just feels greedy on top of greedy.
And if you're trying to, it could work if you sell these games for like 30, 40. That way you're at least getting your money and get like a basic default.
Or even just keeping it at 60. It's the 60 has kind of been the norm for like 10, 20 years now.
Yeah.
But to raise it $10 when everyone sees all these microtransactions, like if it was like, hey, we're raising it $10 so we don't have to do microtransactions,
that's different. That balances out.
Yeah, like I'm sure that's an easy argument to make. Like that'll shut pretty much everybody up, but they're not, and it's just,
So
I think they knew Gotham Knights was going to be relatively mediocre, so they did the microtransaction that way to get the most buck out of it.
Yeah, basically out of the hardcore fans and whatnot, the Taladias of the world.
Hey.
Fuck off, God.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel.
This is all good fun, Taladia.
I regret nothing.
So, let's see here. There's kind of some other new stuff we could talk about, but let's move on to the reason for the stream existence in the first place. These are a few of my favorites. I'm sorry, I like Sound of Music. All right, that clip is gonna bite me in the ass later, but I don't care. All right, so we're gonna be talking. Each of us are gonna be listing our three favorite things.
We forgot to mention about Rocksteady's founders leaving.
Yeah, I figured we just kind of skip over that,
But since you brought it up, we might as well talk about it. It's an end of an era. After close to 15 years, the founders of Rocksteady have decided to leave the company.
Yeah.
It's an end of an era.
Sash Safdie Hill and Jamie Walker, who founded the company, they did Urban Chaos, Right Response. Then they worked on the Batman Arkham trilogy, and literally they made a statement. They're parting ways with the studio, and this was before even the game is actually finished in the final stages of Suicide Squad Killer Justice League. Now, I really feel that Suicide Squad Killer Justice League might be in jeopardy just because of the fact that the founders have left, and I feel like
they might shelve it.
They might shelve it, or they might cancel it completely.
It could go either way.
Yeah, because like I said, Suicide Squad as an IP I don't think it's as valuable as Warner Brothers thinks it is. That's kind of the issue.
Yeah.
And you're trying to drag a brainwashed Justice League into it. Now, if you had Suicide Squad versus the Crime Syndicate, it'd be a deep cut, but you could make it work for the story.
Yeah, but that doesn't really grab people as much as Suicide
It-
Squad
it-
versus the Justice League.
Yeah, it wouldn't grab people's attention. Whereas this is literally a game where it's a third-person shooter game, and you're playing as the Suicide Squad member, and you have to kill off the Justice League. Nobody wanted that.
Yeah, and it's
Nobody.
like sure, some of the characters use guns, but like you have Killer Shark and he's wielding an AR-15. Like what's fun about that? You know, it's
He's
like
using a machine gun.
yeah, it's like it would be one thing if they use like all the unique abilities of the Suicide Squad. You know, like for example, Harley Quinn going around with her mallet, just whacking everybody. Sure, that'd be fun. Or Suicide, or like Killer Shark biting people's heads off, or like
Captain
Killer
Boomerang.
Croc. Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, like kind of take more of an Avengers approach to with it, with you know.
And
But
quick question, since they're going to retool a lot of Snyder's stuff anyway, do you think they'll get Will Smith to come back to play Deadshot, or are they just going to shelve that character entirely?
They
Because they tried to
might.
do
I feel they might shelve the character.
I
They
mean,
might.
they pretty much got the Great Value version with Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
Though I'm gonna give that one a maybe because like, you know, Will Smith his Deadshot actually was pretty popular.
It was the saving grace of the movie.
Like honestly, I think if they do like an Injustice League movie, like or just like have the Injustice League, I could actually see Deadshot being one of the members along with like Deathstroke and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or more like a Secret Six, where you got Deathstroke, Deadshot, Cersei, not Cheetah, because the CGI would be too much of a nightmare. Deathstroke, Cheetah, Deadshot.
The only problem I think might happen is you have two characters with like Deathstroke, Deadshot. I feel like the execs would be like, those names are too similar. It might confuse people. Which
Why did they?
I gotta be honest.
Why do they call Deathstroke by Slade, and they just call him Slade, kind of like a Teen Titans 03 nod? That way, you get rid of the matching Death aesthetic because he's already referred to as Slade.
I mean, maybe. I don't think they do it, but like if they did that, sure. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. What's your thoughts, Deladia?
I think they're gonna. It's hard for me to say.
Now, a Deathstroke game, that would be badass.
No, even though a Deathstroke game would be cool, but I don't think it won't happen. I don't think it'll happen.
Here's how I think.
What IP?
No. Here's how you do it. You make an Arkham game with dual protagonists, Batman and Deathstroke, to where you have your Batman sections and your Deathstroke sections, and that's how you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be done. That could work.
But here's the thing, right? Here's what WB needs to do. They need to build on a universe from the ground up. And I think the best way they could do it, so I think because they killed off Batman and Gotham Knights, I think the only way they could do this now is to do a Justice League type of game in the Arkhamverse.
I mean, honestly, they need to make. Here's what really needs to happen. We need a shared universe of these video game characters. Like, the thing I liked about this, like the best part about the Spider-Man video game, was you had the Sanctum Sanctorum in there, and like, if you took a picture of Avengers Tower, Spider-Man made the quip, "Oh, I think they're in San Francisco," you know, which was a reference to Avengers,
but it's not connected to Marvel's Avengers though.
Yeah, and that was a problem. They even literally did a Spider-Man DLC with like a separate character, and it was supposed to be an exclusive Sony DLC anyway. So if it remained an exclusive Sony DLC, there was no reason you can't just tie it in with the PS4 game, get Yuri Lowenthal to voice the character, and bam.
Yeah, but the way things are going, it was downhill for Avengers. But whereas this, like for DC, they can build on a universe, whether it's Gotham Knights or even a Arkham series. they could use that universe as one or the other. I think Gotham Knights has potential.
Arkham.
I would argue Gotham Knights is more likely because you already have Tim Drake's Robin using the Watchtower Zeta Beam. You already have the Justice League, at least in lore, established.
Yeah.
Problem is, they literally literally DC's most iconic character is dead in that universe. There's no way.
Just have Dick Grayson reluctantly pick up the cow. You could have. I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard to do.
I don't think DC wants Bruce Wayne as Batman. Every time they do that, like when they have like in the 2000s, they had Dick Grayson be Batman. They always bring Bruce back eventually. It's a status quo kind of thing. It's why Peter Parker will always be Spider-Man. And if the current Marvel has their way, he'll never marry Mary Jane and whatnot. You know.
But we gotta remember, in both universes, Batman is dead. In Arkham, he's dead, supposedly.
Well, in Arkham, it's more like a Dark Knight Returns situation where he fakes his death.
Yeah.
So that one you can just kind of bring him back, whatever.
I mean, it's going to be up in the air, but we'll have to wait and see when Suicide Squad Killer Justice League releases, which is next year, 2023 spring, which is still slated for that date, for that time frame.
Now, is that game in the Arkhamverse? Like, is it actually set in the Arkhamverse?
Suicide Squad is set in the Arkhamverse, yes.
Oh,
okay, that could be encouraging though. That could be encouraging because, like, I really feel like if any universe deserves to be made into a shared one, I really feel it's the Arkhamverse because, like, I actually love that universe. I love the texture. I love the feel of it. I like the way they handle the characters, and I'd love to see more DC characters in there. Oh, okay.
Oh boy, bots. Bye bye bots.
Yeah.
I think Jared was onto something because, like, remember we started saying D. Grayson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jared said it. Like he said like because we were saying Nightwing, his name, and as soon as we started talking about him like that, that's when the bot came in. So
no, but here's the thing, guys. Right, as well, it's like the way I see WB doing it now is they can build on a 4-player co-op game after Suicide Squad, right? Now we know
where
that
are you going
game,
with this, Toledo?
Well, get on with it.
So they're working on a Suicide because the Suicide Squad game is a 4-player co-op game as a service game, and that this game is featuring Brainiac. I think they won't kill I don't think they'll kill the Justice League, but I think we're gonna get a Justice League game after that.
So you think it's going to be a fake out? They team up with it. They free the Justice League from mind control. Won't kill them and then fight Brainiac in the final act. Okay, but you kind of baited but with the marketing, you kind of baited the audience.
I could see it. That's Rocksteady though. They baited us about Arkham Knight. Remember that?
Yeah, and people weren't happy. And people weren't happy about that. Remember that? Yeah, they did that, but people were pissed. And the thing is, we've had these kind of bait and switches when Batman v Superman. It's like you wanted a Batman v Superman, and you technically got it, but they did this kind of becoming a tired trope at this end, where it's like person versus person, they fight, but like the third act, they team up against a bigger threat. That it's just a tired trope, and I think people are sick and death of seeing it play out.
Yeah. So let's do our final fun things, which is our favorite top things: movie, games, music, and comics. So
all right, so we'll name three things. 3 of each. So like 3 movies, 3 games, blah blah blah. Jay Heat, what's your 3 favorite movies?
Are we talking comic comic specific or
any movie at all? And no particular order. Let's not rank it.
Okay. Back to the Future is my number 3.
Okay, I knew we were friends.
Lord of the Rings in its entirety is my number 2.
Oh my god!
And my number 1 would have to be Star Wars. Old Star Wars, before the Disney buyout.
Okay, now everything makes sense. It makes sense why me and Jay get along so well. It all makes sense now.
What are your favorites, Nick?
No, Taladia. I want you. You're up next.
Okay, so my favorites are DC, right? The Snyderverse. as I
Okay.
call it.
Individual movies.
Well,
If you want to do trilogies, that's fine. But like,
yeah.
I don't know.
including-
Just it feels like DC Snyderverse is a little bit too broad.
No, but I'm talking about the trilogy, like Zack
Oh, you're
Snyder's.
talking Man of Steel, BDS, Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that works.
that's my top one. Second one is actually, would you believe this, is James Bond, and I would say the
Which iteration
era.
of James Bond?
Pierce Brosnan era.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it makes sense to Lydia. You are a Brit, so
Hey, I'm a Brit. Deal with it.
I am throwing tea at you. Hey, we can have. Hey, to Lydia, we can always have another Boston Tea Party.
Oh, yeah, true. I was gonna say my third favorite, I would have to say, is not Back to the Future. I would actually say, I would have to say the Harry Potter franchise.
Okay. That's a yeah.
I'm sorry, you're being a bit stereotypical here, Taladia.
It's a
Go
good
on.
it's a good franchise.
Taladia, have you ever been to actual King's Cross Station?
Yes,
And have you taken your picture at like the 9 3/4 thing?
yes. I'm not gonna show it. Took out my phone, but I lost my phone.
I mean, I used to be a big Harry Potter fan, but like, if I'm ever at King's Cross, yeah, I'm taking my picture there.
I've been to King Cross
I can see
Station.
why
I've
people
been to-
fell off Harry Potter. They didn't always follow the books and the latter half of the series. I can see why people fell off.
Now,
I
for
fell
me,
off in the lead up to Half Blood Prince for looking back, very stupid reasons. Like it was like, oh, it's getting too popular now. It's getting too big. It was such a fucking hipster thing to do. Like, but yeah, I never
Well,
actually read the last 2 books. I've seen all the movies though.
Okay. But what I will never understand why people got so big on Twilight. Like I just didn't see it.
All right, so here's how it was explained to me. Okay,
Okay.
the books themselves are trash,
Thank
but
you.
they do something that is psychologically brilliant. Okay, Bella is actually not really what described in the book. Like he's literally a blank slate. So the psychology is that it's not. But when you're reading the book, if Bella's not going on those adventures, you are. It's basically the book is designed so that you put yourself in Bella's place to where Bella's not getting romanced by Edward, you are. But mind you, this is a woman that described this to me. Okay.
Okay.
This,
Okay.
This is a woman that described this to me, and she was a brilliant lady. And like she kind of like, and honestly, yeah, I've heard that kind of a few times about Bella being, how it's really kind of designed to kind of pull on those sensibilities. Like same reason why 50 Shades got popular, or why women read all those trashy romance novels. I mean,
Well,
at the end of
50
50 Shades was mommy porn. 50 Shades of Grey was mommy porn. That's what it is.
But yeah, you have
with elements of power fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's another?
I mean, there's.
What's another
All
good
right.
movie franchise?
I haven't done mine yet. So.
Oh, okay.
yeah, Julius. Then
So my top 3, and I'm not like, so a lot of the ones you guys have named are like my favorites, like Star Wars, Back to the Future, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. But I'm going to name like all 3 new ones. First one I can think of is Tron Legacy. I love that film so much.
Okay.
Next up is Top Gun.
Can't
I've
go
actually
wrong
been
with
I've been a Top Gun fan for a long time. And then the last is the 3 Matrix movies. Shame they never made a 4th one, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I was a huge Matrix fan in the day. I still am.
Probably
it was actually weird.
Probably
It was
wouldn't
actually
be good
weird.
anyway.
It was actually weird. They did make a fan fiction film a few years back, called Matrix Resurrections. Like it was a really bad fanfic film, like a fan film. It wasn't really that good, but like, I know a lot of people were excited for it, and actually, it's like kind of realized I haven't really engaged in Matrix in over a decade, and I started kind of dipping my toes back into it, and yeah, I loved it. Oh, some honorable mentions: Pacific Rim. I love the first Pacific Rim. Yeah, Star Wars, big Star Wars fan. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we kind of move on to the games. Let's see here. 3 favorite video games for me. Franchises are also okay. So if you just want to name your favorite video game franchise, that's fine. I mean, that kind of helps. So for me, Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Legend of Zelda. For this one, I'm going to do 5. If you guys want to do 5 video games, that's fine. Like Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, Witcher, I've obviously mentioned. GTA, I love GTA 5 a lot. And then probably Diablo.
Okay. I would
Right.
okay, it's GTA, my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Witcher, my number 4, because I fell off of Witcher. I kind of fell off on Witcher, and it's been a while since I played.
Fuck off, God.
That's fair. That's fair. God of War, because I grew up on God of War.
Boy.
The Arkham series is my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what was my number 1 favorite video game franchise? The Transformers games. I loved them as a kid. The Transformers.
They're the ones that came out in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. From what I hear, are really good.
Yeah.
Like Devastation, Fall of Cybertron. I heard a lot of people say good things about those.
And the Bayverse games are pretty good too. Dark of the Moon's video game was the weakest of the 3, but the Bayverse games were pretty good.
Taladia, you're up.
Okay, so my favorite game of all time, of course, is the Arkham series. Hands down,
Okay.
number 1.
I was afraid you're gonna say Gotham Knights. It's like
No.
I was like, Taladia, you're starting to become a shill.
No. No.
I was gonna call you out if you said that.
No. Number 2, I'd have to say this Marvel Spider-Man universe.
Okay.
From Insomniac.
Okay.
And number 3, I would have to say is a hard one. I would have to say either GTA or the Red Dead Redemption series.
Okay, let's keep that as a tie.
Why do I feel like we're probably gonna be playing GTA Online at some point?
Probably.
Probably.
All right, we'll talk after the show real quick. Okay, all right. So next up is music, and then Taladia, you go first.
Music, I'm into hip hop I'm into any music, so I haven't got really a specific thing.
Talk about like artists or albums you like. That's kind of more what I'm looking for in particular.
That's hard. It's too hard for me to choose.
All right, Jay Heat.
All right. My number 1, Tupac. Number 1, Tupac. Number 2, Biggie Smalls. Number 3, Michael Jackson. Number 4, Jay-Z. And number 5, Ice Cube.
Okay.
All right. So for me, number 1, Nirvana. Number
Fair
2,
enough.
Daft Punk. Let's see here. I actually have like a bunch of CDs over here, but like, number 3, probably Michael Jackson. Number 4 would be John Williams, who did like movie scores, like Star Wars and whatnot. And number 5 would be Nobu Uematsu. He's a video game composer, Final Fantasy.
Okay, those are pretty solid choices. Taladia, you said you couldn't choose. Okay,
I couldn't choose.
All right, so now we're on to comics, and then Jay Heat, you go first.
5 favorite comics. Okay, number 5, the Green Lantern Omnibus in its completion with Green Lantern Rebirth. Number 4 is Court of the Owls. Number 3, I want to say Final Crisis, but Final Crisis was kind of a clusterfuck. Number 2, Flashpoint. And number 1, oh, there's so many good storylines. What's a good number 1?
You can also just do runs if you want, like a runs of a character. That helps.
Okay, my number one comic book run would have to be, if I can only remember their name, but I'm gonna put in an honorable mention instead since I can't remember the exact name. Grant Morrison's Batman run is a good honorable mention for me. It's a very good run that even the worst of characters. I mean, it's just the craft of it all, and all the deep cuts.
All right, so for me, and this is in no particular order, the Chuck Dixon / Devin Grayson run of Nightwing. I feel like because Devin Grayson, I feel like kind of he picked off where Chuck Dixon left off.
I'm just gonna say this, man. She had Tarantula man rape Nightwing.
That's actually one of my favorite issues, not because of that moment, but because of the death of Blockbuster.
All right, I'll give you that.
Like the ending, yeah, I agree with you. That's like fucking absurd, but like everything leading up to that point, and even like shortly afterwards, like it is so good. It's like Blockbuster being like, I dare you, he's not gonna do it. Oh shit, boom, it's like, and I do like the boom, he's like, can't breathe, like it's like, and what's even better is like right after that is the War Game Saga, and like literally the next issue he
goes right
Gotham.
into it with the death.
So
of
like,
Stephen.
so it's like, yeah, yeah. So the Marv Wolf and George Perez run of New Teen Titans.
Yeah. Okay.
Why the Last Man? So I got 3 there. Frank Miller Daredevil, number 4. And
Before
then
he fell off. Okay. It's hard
early Spawn. Like first 50 issues of Spawn. And then 2 honorable mentions, but like let's just do 1. Early Ultimate Spider-Man and early Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah.
Like say what you will about Bendis, but like early Ultimate Spider-Man is some good.
It was good. But
And honestly, a lot of it still holds up.
Bendis actually peaked during that time. He finally peaked around 2011, and that's when his.
And Ultimate X-Men is such an underrated comic.
It is. Taladia?
Yeah. So
For
me, if top, I'll put top 3.
Okay. That's fair.
Number 3, I have to put the Injustice franchise.
Okay. The comic is better than the game. I'll give you that.
Yep. I would also put number 2. I would have to say DC Deceased.
Okay.
Yeah, Deceased. And then number 1, I would have to say either Secret. This is well, I put
Which version
mention.
of Secret Wars?
No, not Secret Wars. This is DC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so an honorable mention I'm gonna put in there is Knights of Steel. What's it called? Tom Taylor's
Dark
Dark
Knight.
Knight. Yeah, Dark Knight of Steel. Honorable mention. And then number 1 is Secret Origins.
Ooh, that's a good comic.
So I didn't mention anything Batman because literally my entire list could just be made of Batman runs.
So keep it there.
A few of them are Hush, War Games, Nightfall. Also, I'm going to mention Death of Superman. I feel like that trilogy is really good.
Yeah.
Death in the Family is really good. The Battle for the Cowl series is great. That's more of a Bat Family thing.
Yeah.
As far as some of my favorite Nightwing runs, I really like the
number 1. Batman Reborn, Red Robin with the Kingdom Come Cowl. Ooh, that's a good comic.
Oh, also, I really like the Red Robin run after Death in the Family. I really like, because it's basically Tim Drake in the Kingdom Come Red Robin outfit, trampezing around Europe trying to find Batman, and like Ra's al Ghul is helping him. And
that's the one I'm talking about. But that technically that was the after Final Crisis Death of Batman, not. Hold on.
That was after the Death of Batman, because there was a 2-year period which is actually, I think, is a really fascinating period of Batman history, where Dick Grayson was Batman, Damian was Robin,
Stephanie was Batgirl.
yeah, and then Red Robin was kind of doing his own thing, because this was like 2 years after. It was like after Death of Batman, but before Flashpoint. I find that to be a really fascinating period of DC Comics. I want to dig into it more. Like, I want to read those comics. I want to read more of those comics.
The Batman Reborn era.
Yeah, like late 90s, early 2000s is kind of like my era. Like, I really like the Titans run of that era. Young Justice was really good. The art, oh my god, I love the art of Young Justice back then. Like, so fun story. When they first started advertising Young Justice, I was like, "Where's Arrowette? Where's Arrowette? Who's this Artemis character? I am so mad. I'm mad. Where's Arrowette?" Because I read the 90s run.
Yeah,
you had Arrowette, and like.
But she does make a cameo in a later episode. She makes a debut in cameo in the first season.
There's actually like a really cool like kind of mini storyline where Arrowette actually goes to the Sydney Olympics for archery. I actually thought that's actually a really good way to do a topical storyline. Like, like that run was like they had a parent teacher conference for superheroes, and like Nightwing showed up, and Nightwing said like, "You don't want Batman to be here." It's like that. Oh, and another one where it's like they had like a campfire and they're telling stories about like when they got like your first time, and the Mist Girl, where she's like, she describes how she dies, and like what do you think we're talking about? Like, it's supposed to be a week, like first kiss instead of like first time, and I just I don't know, the writing on that comic was so good.
That was my era, was like late 2000s, like before pre-New 52, and it was good for what it was. It wasn't the 90s, but it's just, God, those 10 years of comics.
Like, I love the Nightwing Huntress 4-parter was really good.
Yeah.
I love like where Nightwing and Huntress like hooked up, and like afterwards Nightwing is I love how someone like jumped into the chat, and as soon as I was talking Nightwing hooked up, it immediately went down. It's like, oh. Dick's talking to
Helena.
Dick's talking he's talking to Oracle in the kitchen, and he's like, "Dick, are you naked?" Like, I love how like the next time Huntress and Nightwing meet, Huntress is all like, it was fun. There's definitely attraction. She was going all school teacher on it. It's just like, it was just a really good run. And honestly, I do like that era of Huntress. I feel like it's a really cool character. Like, he's kind of on the periphery of the Bat family. Like, she's had a lot of the similar origins. Her mob connections are really interesting. Like, my favorite like twist is like she confronts this mob boss with like pictures of her screwing her mother. It's like, what is this? Like, what were you doing? It's like, we were conceiving you. And then like her name was like Hella Bertinelli, but it's like Helena Blot, like he calls her like his last name.
Yeah.
Because it's revealed that that's actually her father and whatnot. It's just like, it's just a really good storyline. And pairing up with her on the Question, I thought was a really good pairing. Like, I just remember like this Huntress storyline where it's like they're at her apartment and like Tim Drake Robin's there, just kind of hanging out. It's like, "Where's your chips?" It's like, "Oh, I think I have some, like, do you have any food?" It's just like,
I remember.
I just love how Tim Drake's just there. He's like trying to like mooch food off of her. It's just, sorry, I kind of got a little bit carried away there for a moment.
I mean, a good one is also the leading up to the return of Ra's al Ghul storyline, where Damian and Tim just try to kill each other, and they just keep. I mean, Alfred has to break it up, like, he's just a boy. No, they don't care. One's the bastard, the other's the sidekick. Sibling rivalry.
Yeah, they kind of. Yeah, like, I actually really like the Battle for the Cowl 3-parter, which if you think about it was a lot of the inspiration for Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments is like everyone wants Dick Grayson to become Batman and step up, but he won't. So finally, Tim Drake just takes a Batman suit. I thought that's a very Tim thing to do, honestly.
And then Jason just swoops in and kicks his ass.
Yeah, because while Tim may be the better detective, he's not the better fighter. Like Dick could probably beat Damian, but like it's
He would have
like
to go
I think
all out. It would be a
yeah,
very close
and
fight.
with Dick, it's more because Dick has more experience, and like he's skill wise, Damian is only marginally better than Nightwing, but like
Slightly.
Nightwing has a lot more experience and a lot more training conditioning, so
Yeah, because
also Nightwing has a bit more. He's a little bit taller than Damian, has a bit more reach,
talent alone can only get you so far. Damian does have an arrogant streak, but that arrogance is not without merit. He could hold his own.
Yeah, like that's kind of the thing about his character. Like he talks about kicking someone's butt, and like he probably could. It's like I don't know. There's only so far you can get with a character where like they're annoying and like the character is like you're supposed to bring them down a peg. You can only do so much with that kind of character.
And even then, a lot of that is just the little gremlin trope in general. I mean, Damian's more akin to an anime character, like Zuko, Vegeta, Killa from Hunter x Hunter. If you write Damian with that kind of mentality, he improves quite a bit. I mean, the Dikembu essentially made Damian Vegeta, if you really think about it.
Sorry, as soon as you said Zuko, I was like, in my head, I was comparing the storylines of Damian and Zuko. Like, I'm a huge Avatar fan, so that's why.
Who isn't? And come on, you know there are some parallels between Damian and Zuko. There are a few.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a few.
So as we wrap this up, you guys got any final thoughts?
Nope.
Well, we're definitely going to be showing the first episode of Comics League Dark on Jared's channel in a few hours, so I'm going to get ready for that. It was a pleasure to be here. I look forward to working with both of you on future streams, and also I'm going to promote on my channel when I make my comeback. I'm actually planning it by the end of this year. I'm definitely going to
looking forward to it,
making videos again. And it's great to be here, and I'll see you guys in a few hours.
All right, so this has been Nick Gibson with the Phoenix Press.
And just remember, guys, that we have got on my channel. Nick will be on my channel for next Saturday, guys, where we'll be doing early stream where we'll be discussing the world of DC from news that we get next week. From Monday to Friday, we'll be discussing all of that jazz.
All right, sounds good. So going back to what I was saying, this has been Nick Gibson from the Phoenix Press, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.